In the previous video, we have implemented this mechanic where we can hit our enemy, and we are going to see in the debug.log statement that we have reduced the health of the enemy to 0 and the enemy has died. Currently nothing happens in our scene view. In this video, I would like to create some effect that we have hit the enemy, as well as I would like to make sure that we can destroy this object. But before we can do that, I would like to change one thing in our design. If we go to our enemy warrior unit and open this prefab variant, we can see that the unit script was removed, and this was the idea that we do not want to have this unit script on it because we do not want to select this unit. But instead I want to revert this. So our unit script, if we go to it, contains a lot of logic that we would like to reuse. So unit data, as well as the layer mask, as well as this destroy unit method. So there is no point in removing the script, but we have one issue that if we go to our character movement script, we are going to see that we are relying on this unit script, and we are detecting if this detected object has the script, we are assuming that it is our unit. So what we are going to do is we are going to ensure that when we select our object for the movement, so our unit for the movement, we are going to also check if this is the enemy or not, and we are going to keep this unit script on all of our agents. So let's go back to Unity, and to ensure that we can do this, I'm going to select the enemy warrior unit. I'm going to open the tag section in the inspector, and I will edit or add the tag, and I will add the tag called enemy, and I will save it. So the idea is that I want to be able to detect if this is the enemy or not. So I will select the tag and set it to be the enemy, and I will go back. But our warrior and our farmer unit has the tag character. So we can swap this tag to be player tag. I think the player tag is predefined for us. So if we go back to our farmer unit and select the player tag and go back, let's see what happens. Our enemy warrior unit should have the enemy tag. Our warrior unit will now have the player, because this is a prefab variant which has inherited this tag from our main farmer unit prefab. Okay, so now we need to go back to our character movement script, so let's open it up. Okay, so I will slide it down, and in the handle selection, what we are doing is assigning this selected unit to be the component unit from our detected object. So basically what we can do is check if our detected object compare tag, and we can assign here the player. We can type here the player string, make sure that you type it correctly. We are going to assign this, and we can type else and enter, and we are going to assign this dot selected unit equals null. Okay, and now we are going to ensure that we will correctly handle this. Although I think this could be improved. For now, this should work. So let's save this script. Let's go back to Unity. Okay. So now if we press play, we should see that now we will not be able to select our enemy agent. We can still select our player units, and we can move them, and we can perform the attack. So now let's focus on improving our attack by adding some more feedback to the attack mechanic. So if we go now to our assets folder, and we should have superpowers to the folder in our underscore assets, and here we will have a hit sound, and we are going to have some sprite that represent a pixel effect of being hit. So basically we are going to use this for our feedback. To do this, we are going to create a new game object in our hierarchy. Let's call it hit fx. We are going to reset its transform just to be sure. We are going to add sprite renderer component here, and we are going to assign the first sprite from our hit sprite sheet. We need to ensure that in the additional settings of the sprite renderer, the sorting layer is fx. So in our scene view, the sprite will be shown on top of everything else. Now we have a couple of frames for its animation, so we are going to add our hit fx animator. Let's minimize the sprite renderer, and we are going to create, we can create in the same folder, right click, create, and we are going to select the animator controller, and this will be hit fx animator. Okay, and I will drag it onto our hit FX. So now it should be assigned to our animator. And now let's again right click, create, and let's select animation, and let's call it hit FX animation. Okay, and now all we need to do is select the animator window. If you do not have it open, select top menu window, animations, and select animator, and select hit FX and drag here our hit FX animation, and this will be our default animation. Now you need to also open the animation window to be able to edit this hit FX animation. Again, you can go to window, top menu, animations, and animation, select the hit FX object, and we are going to select all of those frames from our sprite sheet, and we are going to drag those into our hit FX animation. Now if we go to our scene view and press play, we are going to see that it plays very quickly. Let's select all of those frames, and actually I think that we are not going to see the last frame because it will stop playing there. So let's select the last frame, Ctrl C to copy it, let's move one keyframe forward, and let's Ctrl V to place this, and we are going to select all of those frames and drag them around 15. So now this will be our animation. So at the end we are going to add a animation event using this symbol here, and this event will allow us to call some method when the animation ends. Obviously we want to destroy this game object when the animation ends, but right now if we go to inspector, we can't really assign here anything because there is no way to destroy this object by calling any default method on our game object. So let's go to our scripts, right click, create C# script, let's call it destroy util, and let's open this script up. Okay, now this will be a mono behavior, but we do not want to have start and update methods. Instead I will have public void destroy object method, which will simply destroy this game object, and this will be it. So let's save this script and let's go back to Unity. Great. Let's select hit FX again, and we are going to assign here the destroy util script. And now if we go back to our animation window and select our event, we can go to inspector and select function destroy object. So now our hit FX will be destroyed after the animation is played, is finished. Last thing that I want to do is select our hit FX in the hierarchy, and we are going to add here audio source. And to this audio source we are going to assign, let's expand it, we're going to select our superpowers to the folder, and here we have this hit-1, we are going to assign it here, uncheck the play on awake, and this will be it. Now our effect will have a sound effect and visual effect. Okay, last thing to do is simply drag it to our prefabs, and now it is a prefab. Let's delete it from our hierarchy, and what we need to do is go to our scripts, and let's select our health script. So here in this script we are performing this health reduction, and if we die we call on die event, but I would also want to spawn a hit effect when we get hit. So let's add below our int health, let's add serialized field, and we are going to create private game object, maybe hit FX, and all we need to do is spawn it. So instead of debug.logging, or we can actually leave it, let's add instantiate, and we are going to pass this hit FX, we are going to add transform.position as the position, and quaternion.identity as rotation, so it has no rotation. And of course we can assign now to the on die the same method that we had assigned for our units, so to destroy these units. Let's save this, let's go back to Unity. Great. Let's select our farmer unit, let's go to this, since this is the original prefab, we can select our health script, and let's assign as the hit FX our prefab hit FX prefab. Now if we go back, it should be assigned for our enemy as well as for our warrior. All we need to do now is select our enemy warrior unit, and since we have removed this health assignment to the unit because we have removed unit script previously, let's add here on die an event listener. Let's drag our unit script, and from the functions let's select our unit, and we should have destroy unit. So now if we go back, last thing that I think we did wrong is select our hit effects, and I have selected uncheck the play on awake. We want this play on awake to be on our audio source of the hit effects for the audio to be played. So now we should be ready to press play. Okay, let's select our warrior, let's attack our enemy, and we can see the effect and the audio sound being played. Great, so we have this, and I think this is it for this video. In the next one, we are going to start working on our enemy AI to be able to move around our map. Okay, thanks a lot for watching, see you in the next video.